I'd love to be racing alongside her. The fire is burning to come up on top against her.
This is the first ever Collins Cup. All the greatest athletes are here. Team Europe, Team Internationals, Team US. For the first time in history, the road to the Collins Cup starts here.
Well, I think a lot of high-level athletes can take themselves to a dark place that no one else is really willing to go. And that's what sets them apart from, your average athlete, I think. I really think that's where I grow, and that's where I learn the most about myself. I can see that when I'm in that dark place, that really there is no limit to what I can achieve. It kind of excites me to put myself in that position because every time I go there, I come out the other side, I feel slightly different. Is that weird? Recovery gun. This is amazing. All the way through primary and high school, I really enjoyed field hockey. And when I was 14, I decided that I was going to do triathlon and field hockey basically at the same time, trying to fit them all into one schedule. But then it came a point where I was competing for Queensland, the state where I live, in both hockey and triathlon. So I had to make a decision whether I would travel with one team or the other. Well, I was at school and my mom was beside me and we were talking to the teacher and told me that I was never going to be a good triathlete because I couldn't swim fast enough. I actually remember exactly where I was standing, what I was wearing, where she said that comment because it had such a big impact on me at the time, and I feel like I've carried that with me. I mean, it wasn't an easy pill to swallow at the time, and Mum didn't really think anything of it, but for me at 15 years old, that meant a lot to me. It's really powerful to have something like that and have someone doubt you that much. I'm actually grateful for that comment because I feel like that's a big part of where I am today. The doubters are what sets the fire. I've always been really stubborn, and I think that's where it comes from. I've always known what I wanted, and I'm willing to go after it. It drives me to want more. Loretta Harrop was my idol growing up because I watched her win a silver medal at the Olympic Games in 2000. And that was right when I had just started triathlon seriously. And I wanted to be like her in so many ways. I thought she was the best thing ever. I think she just had so many ideals and values that I wanted to have when I grew up. And then I had the opportunity to meet her later down the track, and she was as incredible as I wanted her to be. So of course I idolized her even more and maybe fangirled a little bit.
She reminded me a lot of sort of myself, where you don't have to really say too much about where you want to go or what you're trying to do, but you just sort of chip away at it quietly, and she was very much like that.
I remember the first time I met Loretta, I was shaking, I was sweating, and I could barely talk to her. I was so shy, and she actually gifted me a wetsuit to wear at the state championships a couple weeks later because I didn't have one. But I was so nervous I could barely get 2 words out, and I remember my voice was shaking, and she was like, "Sorry, what?"
You could see she really wanted it. She didn't say much, she was a quiet kid. And I don't pinpoint many juniors that I think can probably go a long way, because it's just something special that I can sort of see in them, that you know, it's not necessarily that they're winning major races or anything, but I can just tell from talking to them that there's a lot of substance about them as a person, and you need that to be a great athlete. And Ellie certainly came across, like, to me as being someone that was in it for the long run, no matter the hurdles or the obstacles she had to overcome to get to the top.
To me, that was such a high point in my life. She ended up being the club patron of my junior tri club that I was a member of, and so I got to see quite a bit of her, and she became a really good friend, and she ended up believing in me probably more than I did at the time. I think for me, for so long, it's been about convincing myself that I belong, and it's been more of a mental game than a physical game. I mean, I love the physical side of training and racing, but the mental side, it doesn't come easy. Yeah, in 2012, I took about 6 months away from the sport, and basically that's because I just felt like I was doing it for all the wrong reasons and for everybody else rather than myself. I really didn't enjoy the sport anymore. I didn't want to race. I didn't want to train. I'm a big believer in that if you want something done properly, do it yourself, and I do struggle to ask for help. November of 2014, I made a phone call to Loretta Harrop and asked her if she'd coach me, and I basically told her that I'm a blank canvas now. I've taken 6 months away from the sport, so it's going to be a long road back to where I want to be, but I'm willing to put in the hard work. She had just had her second child at the time, so her priorities were obviously elsewhere, but she happened to be best friends with Siri Lindley, and basically phoned Siri and said, you have to take on this athlete. She's going to be a world champion one day. Siri called me and I met with her the following week, and she told me to pack my bags and move to Boulder, and that's exactly what we did.
Loretta Harrop called me one day when I was running a training camp in Australia, and she said, I've got this amazing girl that you're gonna love to coach. And I said, oh, Loretta, you know, I've got a full squad and I've got so much going on. She said, trust me, you don't want to say no. The moment when I knew that this girl was special, it was some of our first sessions. 35.5. Yep. I love using band-only swimming. And Ellie got in the pool, and she'd never done band-only before, and she was just sinking. Her body was here, her legs were dragging along the ground. And oftentimes, they don't want to have to work through that to get to where I know it can take them if they are consistent and determined to get good at it.
Awesome. Go.
And Ellie was just so, she didn't get down, she didn't get frustrated. She's like, oh, I'm gonna get this, I'm gonna master this, I promise, I'm gonna get good at this. Now she's like the fastest band-only swimmer I have. Ellie is someone who knows that if she wants to achieve her ultimate goal, she's gonna have to go through the hard stuff. She's gonna have to fail sometimes. She's gonna have to be disappointed. She's gonna have to get uncomfortable, and she's gonna have to suffer. And she embraces that because she knows that in order to achieve that ultimate goal, she needs to go through all of that to have what she needs on the big day. My confidence in her ability comes from not just one moment here or one moment there. It's every moment, every single day when she steps up. She has everything that I believe is necessary to become a champion.
I think I'm physically strong in all 3 disciplines of triathlon. I feel like I still have to work a lot on not getting frazzled by other people, particularly in race week, and, you know, be able to be at peace with myself and not let other people affect my mental state. I feel like that's a huge win for me. Would I rather race Daniela Riff or Holly Lawrence at Collins Cup, because they're both on the same team? That's a really tough question. I guess Holly and I are fairly close in age, and I've watched her improve, and she's watched me improve across the last 5 years of me racing the half distance. I feel like on the race course, we're both very strong, dominant personalities, and we just don't take any shit. We had an altercation on the race course at 70.3 World Champs in 2019, where some not very nice words were exchanged when I had a mechanical issue. If I can get the opportunity to have a head-to-head matchup with her, I would relish in that opportunity. Oh, I'd love that. I'd love to be racing alongside her. The fire is burning to come up on top against her. Neither of us are gonna back down. It's not in either of our nature or personalities to back down. If we're on a start list, we're there to win, and I know that it's gonna be an incredible matchup.
This girl knows how to work hard, she's passionate. I'm a former world champion, and I've coached a lot of athletes to incredible world championship crowns, Olympic medals, but Ellie Salthouse, this is gonna be my masterpiece.
Winning the Collins Cup would be huge for me. We have the entire world with their eyes on us. All the best women in the world are gonna be on this start list. This is a lifelong goal of mine, and I will do anything to get it, and whatever it takes. I mean, I'd be scared of me. How badly I want it.
The inaugural Collins Cup. You do not want to miss this.